Hey, VC here. So I want to break down my whole rig and clothing setup and nutrition setup, my whole program for Dirty Kanza. If you haven't watched the video, the story, click somewhere around here, check that out. That's more about the emotions and the, just how everything played out. But I really want to dive into my equipment, right? My choice of Camel Pack and when to use these and the fueling strategy and the rest stops and my tires and rims and all that stuff, because that's a big part of it, dude. So let's talk about my whole program for Dirty Kanza. All right, so the bike, dude, I just pulled this out of the flight bag right now. I haven't touched this bike since Dirty Kanza, and so it's blown out. But I kind of wanted to leave it like this to just show you that it's gone through war, because man, my whole mechanical setup was flawless. I had zero issues. I will probably change nothing for next year. That's how dialed I felt. Everything was amazing. So let's talk about it. Elio cargo bibs. Bro, if you're not on the cargo bib game, what are you doing with your life? What you doing, bro? You've got two pockets on either legs, and then you have something on the back. You've got a zipper and then another one. So you've got 4 pockets on your bibs. Why this wasn't the first iteration of bibs, why someone was like, let's put the pockets on the jersey that's hard to reach. I was able to, on here, have gels, an HVMN ketone drink, and then 2 cameras and an extra battery. All in my bibs, dude. The other thing I had was this Camel Pack. And dude, I know this thing is so bulky and so huge. It's a little big. Okay, I was looking at other people's and I was like, dude, they're so aero. They're so much better than mine. But this one holds 3 liters, so much. And the thing about the Dirty Kanza, dude, is that you have to fix your own stuff. And so there's no sag support following you. So you gotta make sure that you bring everything you need, like a chain breaker. I was ready, dude. I'd freaking build out a whole bike with this thing. The other deal about this that I really liked is that there's only 2 rest stops. It's a 200-mile race. There's only 2 rest stops. So the only times you can get nutrition is at 65 miles and 150 miles. So the plan was, in the first 65, I did not run this. I did not run the Camel Pack, and I had 3 24-ounce bottles, 2 on the bike, 1 in my back pocket, both with beta fuel. So that was 900 calories just in fluids. And then on my bibs, I had a bunch of the SIS gels and some caffeine shots, because I knew that the first 65 miles were gonna be full gas, right? So I didn't want this big hunker thing. And I was hoping that I was gonna be relevant in the race. So my plan was roll into the rest stop, and this would have everything I need. It would have all my nutrition, all my fluid. All I'd have to do is get bottles, put this guy on, and I'm gone. Which it worked out really well. I mean, my pit stop was fast. So then I had this guy for the next some odd miles until mile 150, which I had 2 beta fuel packs in the 3-liter deal, which I probably should have ran 1 more. But either way, 600 calories of fluid, and then this little, how you wrap this around, dude, you have access, so much access. Boom, boom, boom. You know what I mean? It's got my little lube. So even though this thing is big, dude, it had everything I needed. But a lot of redundancy, you know what I mean? Maybe the saddlebag falls off. What then? You know what I mean? So I had basically everything I needed to do to fix flats in this as well. Okay, so let's talk about the bike, right? So I'm running a Felt Breed, phenomenal bike. A lot of people were running very aggressive or very comfortable. I feel like this falls right in between. It's a very capable race bike, but it's also pretty comfortable. Now, right out the gate, the handlebars are like grandma handlebars, so I had to flip the stem and slam that so I could look super aero and go super fast. But other than that, dude, the bike is so good. It runs, the components on it are a SRAM Force 1x, which for me worked perfectly. And you want, because you have to fix all your own stuff, the least amount of issues possible to happen to your bike. Some guys are running single speeds just because of how many people rip derailleurs off and have issues. So I was really happy with running a one bike because that's one less thing you have to worry about. Gearing wise, it's perfect, dude. I mean, there were some pretty steep climbs out there and this motored those just fine. I never ran out of speed. Like I didn't ever have to spin out. So that was good. Now the felt gravel bikes, all gravel bikes to me seem to run a size big. I would be pretty comfortable doing a medium. This is a large. My road bikes are larges, but the gravel bikes just feel really big. They feel more like a mountain bike, even though that's very comfortable and nice when you're tackling crazy terrain. I feel like if we're racing, I want it to be a little more compact. Maybe the bars are like a little too wide for me. But again, dude, you need that extra control when you're dealing with this stuff. So I say that on one hand, but then I didn't wreck, so like maybe that's because the bike is such a beast. Now the breed comes with 650B wheels, like that's if you bought it, that's what it would come with. I swapped those out for 700C IRC Boken tubeless, which were flawless, dude, so good. And we threw those on the Princeton Carbon work rims, which after doing the Belgian waffle ride on my road bike with the Princeton Carbons, like I'm so confident that they can handle anything. So I wanted to run those. And I got a little bit of shit on Instagram when I posted this, people saying like, well, why are you doing 700C and why are you running an aero wheel? Like, what are you doing? But dude, the winner of the Belgian waffle ride, he freaking was trying to get a disc wheel, a full disc in the rear going out of rest stop 2. What? So like, bro, if you think about how much time you're riding, you know, I did 14 hours, 30 something minutes. Yeah, I didn't do very well, but let's say like I did a little bit better and I didn't have, my intestines didn't revolt against me. Maybe like 12 hours. Bro, 12 hours of riding. The winner did it in 10. Any aero advantage you have is going to be an advantage. So I am 100% confident that this was the right setup. 700Cs with the tubeless setup, the IRC tires, no flats, no issues, so perfect. 100% will run that exact same setup next year. Pedals wise, I was running the Asamio power pedals, dual-sided. But to be honest, dude, I didn't really look at power at all. Because Dirty Kanza is an unmarked race course, you have to know where you're going. And so on my Wahoo, I was just basically looking at the navigation map, the turn-by-turn directions. Because, dude, you could just be like motoring along and then all of a sudden you're never to be seen again because you went somewhere else, like into the hills have eyes type area. The only other thing on this that I've added is this little like chalk bag that I have going on. Super sick, dude. This little chalk bag is so good to have easy access. Now, again, I have a lot of cameras and camera equipment, so maybe that's not something that you're gonna have to think about, but like I had my camera in there, but I also had a couple gels, I had a couple like caffeine tablets, I had an extra CO2 just in there. Again, dude, just like so much redundancy to make sure that I can to finish, right? I mean, because that has to be one of your baseline things. Like, okay, if I want to do well, I want to go fast, I want to be light, I want to be aero, but I gotta finish the race. So what happens when your chain breaks, right? Do you have a chain braking tool? Do you have an extra chain? Do you have all this different stuff? If you get 10 flats, do you have a way to fix 10 flats? My Camel Pack had, you know, tools and tubes and air. My saddlebag had it. This thing had it. So, you know, what if my saddlebag falls off, right? I still need another way to fix the bike. So, I mean, yeah, I didn't do super well, but I think that my setup was pretty much perfection. Other than the Camel Pack, I think next year I'll maybe go with like the more arrows versions, and I'll probably have 2 or 3 of those. So I'll have one Camel Pack at the start, and then I'll just have another one ready to go, kind of like I did here. But I did run out of water a lot. And now that has a lot to do with just the amount of time I was outside, right? Like 14 hours, 38 minutes. Next year, I definitely plan on doing like 11 hours, but I did run out of water before the first rest stop. And then I had to use 2 different stops, like free water stops, the EF education stop, and then like a little hand pump in between rest stop 1 and 2. And then from rest stop 3 to finish, there was some guy on the side of the road that I had to refuel from as well. So like I ran out of water 3 different times. And I had the biggest Camel Pack, dude. I don't really know how else I could bring any more fluid on me I'm just thinking maybe I just spent a lot of time laying in the ground, and I don't know. I don't know what else more to say. I think that's kind of the whole program. Training wise, I guess, I did a lot of high intensity going into the event. I did do some big rides like, you know, the Belgian Waffle, and I did a 100-mile ride maybe like a week or two before. I didn't really do anything. I've never rode 200 miles before. But again, dude, if your fitness is high, if you have high-end fitness, bro, you like just don't ride as hard, and you're definitely gonna be able to do 200 miles. It's not that big a deal. So I training-wise, I like to do high intensity, short duration, and then on the day where I need to go big and long, I got it. I think if you're trying to think about equipment setup, it really has a lot to do with what are your goals? What are you trying to achieve? Are you trying to be fast? Are you trying to be comfortable? And then you sort of kind of have to like manage that. But really the first thing is like, what do you want to accomplish from this? Just to finish? Then I think there's some different, like you don't have to slam the bars. Maybe you could go with a 650B. There's different things you want to do. But if you're trying to be faster, right? Like then you got to start sacrificing some things. But man, dude, the Dirty Kanza is such a crazy event because of the navigation and the fueling and just everything. But I am, again, other than the Camel Pack, not going to change a thing for next year. And we're going to smash it next year. We're going to smash it next year, dude. So anyway, this was my rig. This was my setup. I hope you enjoyed. Vegan Cyclist. Yeah.